Hey everyone, it's me, Tardy. Lazy. Rashan. Quest Hub is a video series I started in January where I gave my thoughts about the games I've played for the past month and the games I'm excited to play in the month ahead. As you may have noticed, I seem to have forgotten I started such a thing. After realizing I'd forgotten an entry for February, I decided to why not make this one a bit bigger. So I decided to give this video a bit more structure, and I'll be diving into the games I played last month and the games I've been playing this month, being March. So enough semantics, and let's just get into the games I've been playing for the past 2 months. Later is now, let's do this. Turn-based RPGs have been a staple in gaming since forever. Because of this, there's quite a lot of turn-based RPGs, of course. And if you want me to watch every move you make, you gotta believe you got what it takes to stand out, okay? Above the crowd, even if you gotta shout out loud. And I really feel like Bravery Network Online is doing some really neat stuff. Bravery Network Online takes place in a post-apocalyptic world, which really just means the end of the world happened, but people actually got their ish together. The game takes place in a tower called Tower 6. The world's advanced technology has made resource scarcity a relic of the past, and now citizens of Tower 6 duke it out for fun in the ultimate future sport called Bravery. You play as a Becker, the AI coaches that call the shots for your team of fashionable fighters. The game has deep enough systems to keep me interested, and when I was learning them, I never felt overwhelmed. I'm sure you're familiar with the big boxes of tutorial text you're often greeted with when you're starting up an RPG or turn-based game, filled with too much information that sometimes isn't even important yet. The diverse cast of characters in Bravery Network Online, or B&O, are the ones that usher you through Bravery's mechanics, at a perfect pace that isn't too fast and filled with genuinely funny, fourth-wall breaking humor. What I found to be interesting was that a lot of the attacks center around certain emotions. For instance, this Dapper Daddy can perform a move called Lunch Invite that does exactly what you expect. Once this move is cast, the opponent receives a debuff called Hunger. At the end of each turn, Hunger takes a chunk of the opponent's health. This chunk that's taken becomes bigger until it's removed by your opponent, or your opponent literally KOs from hunger. In another situation, the enemy team had recruited a group of fans to fight for them. The fans, not being actual fighters, gave my fighter a debuff called Guilt. Guilt causes me to be instantly KO'd if I defeat the ones who inflicted the guilt in the first place, because of course I would feel awful and just want to quit if I beat up a group of innocent bystanders. There's a lot of emotional attacks that make the game feel unique instead of just another turn-based combat game. The art style is really cool too. The style reminds me of Cartoon Network original series from recent times, or honestly very similar to Brian Lee O'Malley's current work. I can't wait for World, by the way. It would be horribly irresponsible for me if I didn't at least shout out the fantastic soundtrack that blesses my eardrums each time I boot up this game. From the mellow tunes found in the locker room to the stadium's upbeat track, no matter where I am or what I'm doing, I'm jamming out. The sound creator behind the soundtrack goes by the name Obuxum. I'll make sure her amazing work is down in the description for y'all to check out because it is awesome. Persona is a franchise that's really special to me. After beating Persona 5, it truly felt like I was leaving a group of friends behind. After spending so much time, and I mean so much time, with a cast of characters, I grew very attached to them and, well, missed those idiots. Persona 5 Scramble Phantom Strikers, or Persona 5 Strikers as it's dubbed in the West, allowed me to reunite with my favorite vigilantes once again. Persona 5 Strikers does not follow the traditional turn-based combat system from the main nine games though. Developed by Omega Force, the team known for the Dynasty Warriors franchise takes a crack at creating a Persona spin-off that features the beat-em-up gameplay. Games that feature this type of gameplay are often referred to as Musou games. With Persona 5 being a spin-off, let alone a Musou game, I thought a little bit of that Persona magic would have been lost, but I'm pleased to report that this is just as Persona as the mainline series. The Musou gameplay surprisingly pairs very well with the Persona style, and once the game loosens its reins a little bit, I found the combat to be really fun. You can still pause the hectic battles to cast magic attacks to exploit enemy weaknesses or pull up the menu to use your items when you get in a tough situation. Persona 5 Strikers feels more like a sequel than a spin-off. The story picks up right where we left off in Persona 5. Hearing Futaba's simple heh again warms my heart. Makoto keeping everyone in check is awesome, and thanks to Strikers I have found a newfound love for Yusuke, a character I can't believe I didn't relate to more before. Somehow through this story I'm able to see Yusuke in a different light than I did in Persona 5. And I'm so thankful for that because he is freaking awesome. And holy crap, if you thought the menus in the original Persona 5 were beautiful, you're in for a treat. I don't know how with every iteration they're able to keep making such stellar art and music that either is on par with what came before or manage to create something that makes me go, how the fuck did they top that? I'm still in my early hours of playing, and by early hours I of course mean I'm 10 hours in, but I'm engaged and I'm having a great time hanging out with the Phantom Thieves again. The This was a game I just so happened to come across on my Twitter feed. I haven't played the original Half-Past Fate, but I do love a romance, and I do love a visual novel, and I do love me a bargain. It was only $5, so I thought, why not? In Half-Past Fate's romantic distancing, you play as a couple. They meet at a tech shop and totally hit it off. They make plans to go out the following week, only to have those plans postponed indefinitely due to the king of postponing everyone's plans indefinitely, COVID-19. It's a short story about how a couple deals with the struggles of not being able to see each other face to face, each trying to come up with interesting and cute ways to connect and learn more about the other from a distance. Usually I get a game to escape, but playing this game I was able to relate to the story quite well. Me and my girlfriend have really learned not to take our time for granted after all of this. Being apart is not something that either of us enjoy. It's interesting to see how the complete opposite effect seems to be happening to married couples around the world, where the pandemic is putting a damper on their love life. I'm sure there's many factors that go into this, but man, I really wish I was with my girlfriend during this time. Now, I hope you made it this far because I think I have something you may really like. A game that upon completion filled me with joy and morbid curiosity of what stones I may have left unturned during my first playthrough. A game that has such challenging gameplay while also managing to juggle a story dealing with death and letting go. I'm talking about the new indie game, Everhood. Everhood released at the beginning of March, and it wasn't until I saw a post on Twitter by the site 61indie when I learned of its existence. 61indie covers a lot of different indie games, and if you're interested in finding a new hidden gem, I would suggest giving them a follow. Everhood is a game that wears its Undertale inspiration on its sleeve, but it absolutely stands on its own as a unique experience. Everhood takes mechanics from popular rhythm games like Guitar Hero and reimagines them to fit Everhood's abstract storytelling, resulting in what I can only describe as psychedelic beat battles. You have to maneuver between 5 lanes trying to avoid the obstacles that are hurling towards you. The battles can be challenging, but Everhood offers players with enough accessibility options and difficulty setting that you can play how you want. What I love most about Everhood though was the story it told. I don't want to spoil much because it's something that I found truly special and I want anybody who's interested to experience it for themselves, especially if you're a fan of Undertale. It's a world that is full of mystery and it managed to get me attached to almost every character, so much so that when it was time for my adventure to end I got emotional leaving them behind. Thankfully the game encourages more than one playthrough as there are many mysteries that will probably be left undiscovered from your first run. I somehow managed to get the good ending in my first playthrough. I can only imagine how the story will end when I choose to do the opposite.
Let me get a little more keyboard, please.
One day, girl, we'll be looking back.
All right, man.
I'll kiss you, then you kiss me back. You know you never had to ask.